All right, everybody. We're here for another episode of Thursday Explorers, and Scooby is ready to go. We're doing Clark Reservation today, and disregard the eye patch. I got a little issue going on. I'm not a pirate today, so don't worry about it. So we're going to pop through Clark Reservation real quick. We're going to do some of the trails today. Some of them are closed in the winter because they go all the way down to the lake that is here. We can still see the lake. But we're just going to walk around the edge today because we can't go down there. Right as you come into the front parking lot here, there's a playground area with all these like natural looking playscapes and slides and all these little pylons here that have information about like the local wildlife, and they try to incorporate all the wildlife and stuff that you can learn here right in the playground. Super cool way to start. So we're going through, we're making sure we're keeping Scooby on a leash today because there's other people here. And again, we're going to do our best. I'm going to try not to fall on anything today with my limited vision, but let's go check it out. All right, so we're going to do the edge hike today, I think called the cliff hike. And you can look right down here and you've got a big lake down there to your side, and there's lots of rock hopping to do. But one thing you want to be mindful of here, stuff might be covered in snow. You don't want to step through the cracks in these rocks and get your foot stuck. So be careful where you're walking all the time. Stay on the trail, stay safe. Sit. He's a problem child today. You're a bad boy. So this rim trail here, it's kind of a good mix of deciduous and evergreen forest. We can see some cedar tree here, some more cedar tree over there. Looks like some ash tree up ahead. But right here where I'm standing, you can see, these big gaps in the rock we're talking about. Now these are pretty cool and they're, fun to hop over. But you got to be careful, especially in the winter when you can't see all the cracks. And Scooby does not care at all. I'm going extra slow today because my vision's distorted. Big old gaps. Let's the rim trail. Yeah, do the rim trail. Yeah. Here, yak tracks. That would have been advantageous of us. Ooh, it's slippery. Yeah, if you've got yak tracks or micro spikes, it'd be a great day to wear them for this hike. As you can see, there's a little bit of climbing involved in this trail. Make sure you stay on the trail. There's a lot of people who go up that way when you're really not supposed to. Just follow the blue markers. Now we actually both had an extra coat on when we started today, but it was a little bit warmer than we thought it was going to be. It's still sub 30, but since we start hiking, we know we're going to warm up, so we took a layer off before we left the car. Here, we're going to do the white trail. Big buck. The big buck trail.
Come. Hey. Come.
If anyone knows a good dog trainer who will work for free. See, a lot of people will have 2 layers of pants. They'll wear like long johns, but we've got on insulated pants most of the time we come out. Mine are fleece lined. I think hers are fleece lined. So there's 2 layers built in. Not only are they super comfy, but they're very warm. I got mine at Costco for like $20. Oh. So the Clark trails are pretty well marked. They got a lot of markings on the trees where they just paint over it. And they're usually color coordinated. Like this one's a green trail, so they mark it with the green post. We're on the Big Buck Trail, which is a white painted trail. So all these trees have a little white marking on them. Now a lot of places, like Baltimore Woods where we went last week, they've got those plastic signs, but not everywhere has, the resources to put up plastic signs everywhere because it costs money to make that. So instead, they just mark them with a little paint, but it's a more economically friendly way to do it. And it doesn't hurt the trees at all. But this park is pretty easy to get to. It's right off the Seneca Turnpike, maybe a 15-minute drive from the Onondaga Hill area, but it's super easy to get to. In the wintertime, there's almost nobody here, so it's a nice trail to go hike where you can enjoy nature without other people being all over you. the best way to enjoy nature, in my opinion. So now that we have all the snow here, this is actually a really good trail to come and snowshoe, maybe cross-country ski on. Once you get past those rocks at the beginning, this trail opens up a lot. You know, it's got a lot of good open space. And obviously with the snow on it, you can snowshoe a little bit. Okay, so this is an interesting one. It looks like it might be a birch because of all the marks that it has here, but it doesn't have that peeling bark that you would see on other birch trees. So it makes me think that it is not a birch. Plus these branches look a little bit different. Usually birch branches are just, they don't look like that. It's hard for me to describe because I'm not, you know, an arborist. But that's something different. We'll have to look up what kind of tree that is. That one's getting eaten by vines. Pull a tree. Okay, so you can see, you know, this trail is really well marked. So if you got to this point, you're like, oh, that was enough for me. That's all I wanted to do. Go back to the parking area. But we're going to keep going on the Big Buck Trail, which leads to the Long Trail. Then there's the Mildred Foss Trail. We did that one before, I think, right?
I think, yeah, we've done all of them at some point.
Or is it Faust or Faust? Faust. Mrs. Faust. I had a teacher named Mrs. Baust. So as you can see, you know, there's a posted area right next to this. So I think there's some cool stuff down there, but don't cross the line. I think we've gotten pretty good at figuring out how much to wear on any given day. If you get out of your car and you're really warm with all your stuff on, you probably want to take one layer off, because as soon as you start moving, you're going to generate body heat. Oh, so don't, when you see this sign, this is the right one. Don't listen to this. There's no markings over there. It obviously says posted property all over the place. And the green markers are on the trees over this way. This trail goes this way. So we're gonna go the right way because we're smart like that. We realized that the Mildred Faust Trail is very short, takes you right back to the parking area. So we're gonna take the Long Trail because we're in it for the long haul. Marked with the red markers. A little gully down there. Look at, you can see animal tracks. Or you probably can't in the video, but if you go down that way and you walk this way, when you come here and you hike these trails, you will see animal tracks, you know, off the beaten path. Animals don't like to walk where humans are or humans travel frequently because they don't want to run into people. They see us as predators. They try to keep their distance when they can. The smart ones anyways. There are a few deer known to gravitate towards cars though. So I've done a little reading and I'm wondering if this is what they would call a shagbark hickory. It looks pretty shaggy to me. No, I really wondering if that's what they call it, that is a shagbark hickory, because that's a really like interesting thing. I know we looked at it in our first or second video. Yeah, so there's not as many big, really big trees in this forest, and I wonder why. Might be because of the type of soil there is. Maybe this was cut down for lumber at some point, but it begs the question, why no big trees? Time for a water break. Clink. Oh God, it's refreshing. I can feel the vitality coming back. So if you come here in the summertime, you'll see a lot of interesting geological formations. There's a lot of big rocks, big chunked rocks all over the place, especially if you go down by the lake, which I'm trying to remember what type of lake it is. Is it a crater lake? Do you remember, Cass?
No, I don't remember.
All right, well, I guess we'll have to read this sign. All right, cool. So we're coming to another intersection here. So there's a Long Trail extension and the regular Long Trail. I will say, this is a fun fact for anyone who likes to play Pokemon Go. This is a great place to come out and play Pokemon Go, because not only are we close enough to the city where you can still get a lot of monsters, but there's also a lot of like spots that are marked on the trail, like these trail markers themselves, that are Pokestops or gyms that will hold for a very long time. We're not playing Pokemon Go today, but we're just hiking. Cass doesn't play Pokemon Go. Oh man, look at the hole in that tree. Look, treasure! Oh my God! Just kidding. Check out this tree right here. Looks like some ants or termites got into it. Might still be in there, who knows? But it's all eaten out here. A lot of food for hungry insects. That's what happened to all the big trees here, it looks like. So I'd say the one downside about Clark Reservation is that you're still really close to the roads, so you can still hear the cars and stuff like that. There's other places we've gone, you're pretty far away from cars and trucks and the city sounds. So even though you're out here in the wilderness and it looks really pretty, you can still hear them on a busy day. But that does bring up a good point about wildlife preserves and what you call noise pollution. So naturally, you know, without cars and humans and building construction stuff, all this would be very, very quiet and serene. You wouldn't hear any of that. And the animals, all of them, have heightened senses of hearing because they need to be able to hear predators or hear their prey, just be aware of their surroundings so they can survive. Now, if you have this constant thrum of cars all the time, it really takes away from their ability to hear predators and stuff come. Because as a human, we don't have very sophisticated hearing. Like, our hearing is pretty good, but it's nothing compared to, say, like a dog's or a deer's or a coyote's or an owl's or a bat's. Woo. Because there's so much noise all the time, it really messes with their way of life. Now, you might read a little bit or hear a little bit about noise pollution in the oceans, especially when they do drilling, when they're doing sound tests or have explosions underwater to test bombs and stuff. Animals underwater are very, very sensitive to noise, and there's rules and regulations that make it so you can't do it in certain areas. It still happens above ground. It's not as impactful, but it's definitely changing the environment in a very nuanced way. This is what you would call like a cedar grove. Well, there's lots of cedar trees all packed in together really tight. And it's kind of like that pine tree grove that we saw the other day at Baltimore Woods, where all the same type of tree are kind of working together to make it a really suitable environment for that type of tree specifically. If you look through here, you know, you might see another type of tree here and there, but most of these are all cedar trees. So here we've broken out into the meadow. This is part of the extension. And you don't walk for this for very long, but as we were standing here for a minute, you can, if it's quiet out and you be really quiet, you can actually hear the electric tower buzz a little bit. Not really a nature thing, but still interesting nonetheless. Scooby is, you know, he's all amped up. He doesn't like his leash. If there weren't so many rocks, this would be a good sledding hill. Whoop, careful now. All right, as we're getting back onto this brim trail here, you're going to start to see some more of these geological formations, more rocks jutting out that we're going to walk through. This is kind of the coolest feature of these trails. Now, in the winter time, though it should be a little better marked off, this lake trail really is closed, because once you go around the other side, it is chained down at the bottom. And there's a bit of quicksand down there. You know, you got to be careful when you're walking around there, even in the summer. But right now, not a great place to be. It's a little more treacherous hiking, so stick to the cliff trail in the winter. So, woo woo! As I was about to say, it's important to have good shoes with good grip if you're going to come out and do this hike in the winter. There's a lot of slippery areas. If you don't have great boots, you know, get some crampons or yak tracks. They'll give you some more traction out here. But there's a lot to be careful of when you're hiking in any conditions. And winter climbing with lots of rocks and ups and downs, it's really important to make sure you have the right equipment, as we have harped on for the last 4 weeks. Footwear being the most important. Look at this hiking couple up here. They're just crushing it. No amount of roots and rocks can stand in their way. Or mine. Here I come. Here I come. One-eyed Captain Jack. What's this over here? I'm willing to bet that is not naturally forming. A little half teepee, like a little ramshackle lean-to. You can sit in here. Ooh. Oh yeah. What is it, Scooby? If it's too windy, you come in here. Unless it's the wind's coming from over there, then you get blasted. But this is kind of cool. Someone made this, obviously, but still pretty nifty. But if you come right over here, actually, you can start to see that lake a little bit. I can't, maybe not, there's the best spot. We'll find another spot. All right, you can kind of look across here, and straight over there is the pavilion that they have near the main parking lot. And down there's the lake. Now there's another trail that goes all the way around the outside of the lake there. And like I said earlier, that trail is closed right now. And there's a set of stairs that goes up near that pavilion, and it's blocked off from the top. You know, they don't want people going down into the lake in winter time because they don't want people trying to go out in the lake thinking that it's frozen enough to walk on and falling through the ice. In the summertime, that's a really pretty place to go hike because you're right next to the lake. There's lots of cool stuff down there. Got to watch out for the quicksand and the mud, but it's still a good spot. Look at these rocks though. Now if you come across a fossil in the rock, it is best to just leave her be her. You know, it's cool to look at, but if you take it, no one else will ever get to see that fossil again. And it takes away from what the trail and the nature center is trying to do. This place is here to be shared. If you start taking stuff out of it like flowers and rocks or animal remains, you know, it does take away from that cool natural aspect that you get to share with everyone else. I would say it's a wee bit selfish. Now here's kind of a cool thing here, how these trees are growing right around this rock. Like sometimes you'll see them growing right over, but like look at the way this is. Let me see, my camera's pointed at it. Been pointing at stuff for weeks that no one can see. But it's growing right around the rock here. It's this same one's growing right up through. That's neat. Nature perseveres, regardless of the obstacles. Just like us. It's starting to snow. See this? These are the cracks you got to be careful of. Because sometimes in the winter these might get covered up with snow or ice and you'll step on it wrong and it'll send you right through. And you might not get hurt, but you could. So it's important to be very careful. And you don't want to fall down, so make sure you stay on the trail. Look at that drop. Wouldn't want to fall down that hill, no sir. Yeah. We're getting pretty close to the end here, but you can see across. It looks like down there, you might not be able to see it on the video, but it looks like there's animal tracks all the way across the lake there. In the winter time, if a lake freezes over, which this one probably does, animals are able to walk on the lake. The lakes will freeze over, and it's really important for animals and people to cross. Native Americans or people native to North America have for a long time used the winter months to expedite travel because they can walk across the lakes. If you go up to the Adirondacks in the wintertime, most of their lakes freeze over and you can easily walk across them, which makes it a lot easier to travel because, you know, as we see on the trail here, there's a lot of ups and downs. You know, you have to go over rocks, go through trees, and this is on a well-established trail. It has been built for the purpose of hiking. Whereas in the wintertime when a lake freezes over, it's just flat, you know, and as long as it's safe to walk across, you have 2 or 3 inches of ice and you just zoom right across it. You don't have to go up and down, you know, get around big hills or go through the woods where it's hard to carry stuff. It's easy to go across something that's flat and open rather than go through the woods. Okay, good job. History lesson done, everybody. All right, we're coming to the end of our hike here. Brr, so sad. It's a nice quick hike. You know, we did it in about 45 minutes, I'd say. 45 minutes to an hour. You know, and there's lots of other trails to explore. You know, we got backed up on the Mildred Foss Trail and we turned around and we did the Long Trail extension. You know, like I said, in the summertime, you can walk and do the lake trail. You know, you could walk all the trails in one day here, or you could do just a quick loop. And it's nice and easy. It's not really too taxing of a hike. There's a couple spots where you have to be careful on the rocks. It was well marked, easy to follow, but it's very pretty in the winter, as I've been saying. Looks like there's lots of people out here using it, so maybe someone's watching my videos. No. So, like I said, we're almost done, but I want to thank you guys for coming out with us these last 4 weeks. We're knocked out most of the trails really close to Onondaga. I'll see if I can find some new places to check out and bring you along, and hopefully I can look at you with both eyes next video. This was episode 4 of Thursday Explorers. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching these, and if you like it, you know, make sure to like, comment, share, follow us on Facebook and all that jazz. Keep up with all the stuff we're doing. We're going to start getting ready for summer, So keep an eye out on our website, townofonondagarecreation.com, for all the things that we were hoping to be doing this year. I know this has been a crazy year for everybody, so I hope everyone's doing well, and hope to see everybody soon. This is Jack and Cass and Scooby clocking out.